Here is a video of the 1987 Radio Shack Astro Command electronic game in action. It has 4 difficulty levels to choose from using the select button. Clicking on the start button initiates a new game. The missile button shoots a projectile horizontally, while the bomb button drops a projectile vertically. The joystick enables 4 directions of motion: up, down, forward, and reverse. Automatic scoring is displayed on the screen. I sped up this section of the video so as not to bore you with gameplay. Here was my filming setup to capture the Astro Command's display. I used a plastic bin as ballast to prevent my iPhone on the selfie stick from falling over. I had to reach around the plastic bin to play the game while taking the video. You can see my selfie stick remote to the right of the plastic bin. In 1987, Radio Shack released the Astro Command electronic game, catalog number 60-2181. The advertising boasts, defend yourself against alien ships while dodging the asteroids. Other attributes include a 3-dimensional design display, automatic digital scoring, joystick control, and outer space sound effects. This electronic game, tagged as New for 87, was featured in the lower right-hand corner of page 107 in the 1987 Radio Shack catalog. The advertisement indicates the dimensions of this electronic game, which is 4 3/4 by 8.5 by 7.5 inches. My recently purchased Astro Command was in pretty rough shape, with scratches on the case and the display screen. Let's just say it was well played with. A previous owner scratched, as is only, no power in the base of this electronic game. Testing. I installed the required 4 C batteries in the base, then I replaced the battery cover, and when I moved the power switch to the on position, nothing happened. This electronic game was completely dead. Repair. In order to fix this electronic game, you must first remove the batteries. The joystick's knob must be removed. First you must remove the sticker, then remove the screw underneath it. Now the joystick stock can fit through the top of the case when removed. 6 screws must be removed in order to separate the base from the top cover. Next, the futuristic bezel must be removed. 2 screws hold the printed circuit motherboard bracket in place. This electronic game incorporates a VFD or vacuum fluorescent display commonly used in consumer electronics equipment in the 1980s. VFD displays emit very bright light with high contrast and can display elements of various colors. Astro Command uses a switching power supply to provide the proper voltages needed for the processor and display. This D882 NPN power transistor converts the incoming steady DC or direct current to pulsating. What drives this toroid transformer, rectifier diodes convert the output of the toroid transformer back into direct current at the desired voltage levels. A common issue is that this D882 NPN power transistor fails, rendering this electronic game inoperable. I desoldered the D882 NPN power transistor from the Astro Command's printed circuit motherboard and tested using my MEGA 328 component tester. This power transistor is clearly bad, acting electrically as 2 resistors in series. This is how a good D882 NPN power transistor should look electrically. The new D882 NPN power transistor was soldered in place. I will include an Amazon link in the description for replacement transistors and the MEGA 328 component tester. It is also a good idea to replace these 3 electrolytic capacitors while you have this electronic game apart. After 37 years, electrolytic capacitors lose their capacity as their electrolyte dries up. It is important to replace the electrolytic capacitors with the same capacity and same or higher working voltage. It is also important to observe their polarity when installing. I used my MEGA 328 component tester to test each replacement electrolytic capacitor before installing. When working on the printed circuit motherboard, it is important to not strain the wires connected to the piezoelectric speaker as they can easily break. I decided to remove the battery contacts so that they can be cleaned and polished for good electrical contact. I then reinstalled the battery contacts back into the base. and solder the positive and negative wires in place. Time to clean the switch contacts. 3 screws must be removed to free up the printed circuit switchboard. An additional 3 screws must be removed from the joystick mount to finally expose the switch contacts. I used denatured alcohol and a pen applicator to clean the contacts. The joystick mount must then be reinstalled using the 3 screws. The printed circuit switchboard is reinstalled onto the base. Time to reinstall the printed circuit board motherboard bracket using the required screws. Then the futuristic bezel clips in place. The top of the case mates to the base, then 6 screws secured in place. The joystick knob must then be reinstalled. It is secured to the shaft with a screw. A sticker is placed over the screw to hide it. Time to reinstall the batteries, and then the battery cover. Success! My Astro Command electronic game is now in working condition. Conclusion. Thank you for watching this how-to repair video on repairing the 1987 Radio Shack Astro Command electronic game. This repair was very straightforward. It was satisfying to snatch this dead electronic game from the clutches of the circular bin. Please like this post and subscribe to Rust Belt Vintage Toy Repair so that you're alerted to my future posts.